All right, let's call this meeting to order. Assume you're in here for the planning board meeting, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to the meeting. We'll start with the administrative item. Jack sits in the back corner over here or over on the other side, the one you came in. We do have a generator in case we need one. And if anything does come up, you just follow Ron. He'll be the first one out. So don't worry about it. Just follow Ron. Please silence your phones and any other electronic devices, watches, and the rest so you don't disturb the proceedings. And we will be following the agenda as it is on the table over there. So that's the opening of the meeting. We are conducting it in accordance with the rules and procedures that we adopted this year. We cannot do the planning board minutes since Regina wasn't here, and we need 3 people to do that. The other 2 members of our board are necessarily absent tonight. So we'll get right into it. First item up is continued public hearing, PB 2025-501-502 for the New Energy Lindfish Solar Project. The preliminary site plan and special use permit, but basically tonight we're here to hopefully come close, if not complete, the environmental record so we can move forward with that. So give us a quick update there, sir. Remind everybody who you are and tell us what's transpired since the last meeting.
So obviously, Tori Clark with New Energy Equity, representing the solar project. We submitted our second public response to that the last meeting in July 2nd.
And that has been posted on the website, right, John?
Yep. So obviously we're this year.
Okay. We'll go from there. Ron?
I drafted a resolution for your consideration tonight.
Yep.
That also was posted and distributed to staff and the applicant.
Okay.
Property owner.
All right, Paula?
I don't have anything additional.
Sean?
I understand that there were questions on things that the highway department had done to disturb the drainage in the area on Mount Payne Road.
Yep. But this isn't the place to discuss that, but yes, there has been. Maybe these people can grab you afterwards and talk about it because there was some concern about what was done before your time.
Right.
And maybe you guys can talk to them later. This isn't the place to do that as this is about this project. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Engineering.
Yep, MRB Group is still reviewing the application. We did forward to the town a letter based on our review of the environmental documents provided by the application.
Okay.
Our recommendation to the board is that you have everything that you need in order to move forward with completing the environmental record for the application. What that means is that all the environmental documents necessary for this board to evaluate the part 2 and part 3 have been provided. All correspondences from those agencies involved with this application, which would include Army Corps, DEC, SHPO, and et cetera. Those documentations have been provided to the board. What it doesn't mean is that MRB Group is still reviewing it. We would still have comments potentially on some of those items, but the materials have been provided that are needed for you guys to proceed.
Okay. All right.
Sir, Conservation Board,
Yeah.
we reviewed this some months ago and
Huh?
didn't have any comments on this.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate you being here.
Yep, thank you. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to go through the process like we have every other meeting. We'll ask you to try to keep your discussions to 3 minutes or so if possible. We're looking for environmental facts and figures and data and new stuff, not rehashing what you've already had. We already have that on the record. We've reviewed that. We have the response from the applicant. All that's been there. So if you've got something new to provide the board, We would appreciate that as we go forward, looking at the environmental impacts of this project. So I'm going to turn on the speakers or the microphones in the back. Please remember that when I turn these on, anything you say on sidebars will be captured for life on a YouTube. So just wanted you to be aware. So it's on, so just beware. So who would like to speak first and talk about anything new on environmental for this project?
I'll go first.
Okay, name and address.
Tammy, 4453 Mount Payne Road.
Okay,
Going on. Appreciate everyone's time and effort. I know I'm probably gonna sound like a broken record here, and I hate to do that. But in some of the responses from New Energy Equity, there are concerns about the incorrect property address. To me, that is quite a problem. I mean, if this happens to end up going to court, it's just gonna be overturned. I mean, I don't know how the town can accept an application for a project of this scale with having the wrong address. I mean, this address that they put on there, 4410 Mount Payne Road, doesn't even exist. This is not a minor oversight. It's a fundamental flaw that compromised the legitimacy of the entire public notice and the review process. If the address is incorrect, the neighboring property notifications and situational maps are inherently flawed. My thoroughbred breeding facility relies heavily on a pristine, highly controlled, and safe environment to protect the millions of dollars in my equine assets. A large-scale industrial footprint directly across the road introduces significant risks regarding the glare, construction, stormwater, etc., etc. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if this New Energy Equity can't be trusted to do something as simple as have the correct address, how can we trust them going further? Can we trust them to do the correct and proper soil samples? That was another one of my questions at our last meeting. There was no response to that. Why do we have to have continuing soil samples if these solar panels are so safe in our neighborhood? Not only to my family, but my horses and myself, my grandchildren who are planning on living there. This is just a careless response. They've had 18 months to correct this and they failed to do so. Their answer to number 3, the inadequate and unverified emergency response planning. They're saying in their FOIL that it is supposed to be the Citizens Homes Company in Shortsville. They haven't been notified. They had no whatsoever. Nothing has been accepted. Our emergency response fire department is Manchester, New York. Them too. They're completely unaware of this project and have not been integrated in any safety protocols to anyone's knowledge. The response to number 3, the disproportionate traffic and disruption to our neighborhood. As it is, our road might get a dozen cars a day down there. They're not some big off the road, off the throughway place with large heavy equipment and delivery trucks. They plan to have 50 huge large delivery trucks bombing up and down our road on a daily basis for months. This is going to completely disrupt our neighborhood. Then we go in again to our well water. They say they're not responsible for our water if something were to happen. All this type of machinery, certainly with the impaction of the land, it's going to disrupt the water. The solar panels warm the land. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it goes on and on and on. The water erosion is a problem. The noise, the pollution, all of this fluff that we're getting from this company is just that, it is fluff. We were asked not to use Facebook. We were asked to use facts and figures, but all his responses were energy equity responses. It seems like it says in the report, they've gotten it on Facebook. We can't use Facebook, for goodness sakes. I can use Facebook, so all the problems with solar panels caused everywhere around the country, we could be here for months. I don't know, but I speak for all the residents of Mount King Road, we're all united against this development due to a broad range of severe unmitigated risks to our daily life, safety, and investments. We're gonna devalue our homes. Again, we can all prove that. And furthermore, I ask that absolute transparency and democratic integrity is looked into this process, not just on us, but New Energy Equity Works as well. Thank you once again for your
Okay.
time.
Want to provide that letter to the clerk, and they'll put it in the record? Thank you. Who else would like to speak for or against this application? Yes, sir. Yes.
And
Yep.
I thought I'd do is talk about the facts of this project.
Okay.
5 of them that need to be addressed. And I do it correcting some of the misinformation that the applicant has put into some of his reports.
Okay.
The first is airborne dust. I submitted an article from the Journal of Veterinary Medicine, which talked about peer-reviewed magazine, which talked about the effect of airborne dust on the performance of racehorses.
Mhm.
We all know these would be mature animals. And it showed that there was a degradation in performance. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the dust coming from this project, the effect it'll have on sucklings, weanlings, yearlings, these developing horses that have to grow up with pristine lungs if they're going to be a successful racehorse. The second is solar glare. Now, I don't know where they got their information, but if they had a consultant, they ought to get their money back in terms of what they reported on solar glare. Let me just give you a couple of seconds of information on anti-reflection coatings. You can do a single layer in silicon, which will be an anti-reflective coating at one angle. If you want to do all the wavelengths at all the angles, you've got to have 30 to 40 layers, and they would never pay for that because it would be ungodly expensive. Put 40 layers of material on a piece of silicon on a 5 megawatt project. Number 3, noise. Even the applicant admits that noise is a problem for thoroughbred racehorses, highly strung individuals. What they try to make the point is that, hey, we have trucks going up and down the road, but you've got tractors and other mechanical equipment. Well, any breeder of thoroughbred racehorses worth their salt brings their horses in the morning and the afternoon to be fed, inspected, given medicines, groomed, so they're not tough animals when they're 1,200 pounds, handled by individuals, morning, noon, at night. Now, when that happens, that's when the tractors come up. The horses are in the barn, the music's probably playing, they're eating, they're passive. Tractors are outside doing their thing. They're in no way commingled together in the same pasture like he tried to assert in this response. I think he also mentioned that, after the project's up and running, no problem, there'll be nothing to happen on this particular project. Well, those of us who have been in business or farmers or anything knows that things break. Panels are going to crack. There's going to be all sorts of other maintenance and repair that's going to need to be done. How often? I don't know, but it's a fact. It's going to have to be done. And there's going to be continued vehicle traffic, individuals in and out of that project on some frequency basis. We can't bring our horses in when these trucks come along, plowing up and down the driveway. And if you think they're going to obey the speed limits, where I've got a bridge in Brooklyn I can sell you. And then we talked about the water, the wells, they're set shallow wells. The runoff and any contamination from the cadmium or the silicon or whatever material they're using on the solar panels, that's going to creep into the soil. I don't care what anybody says, and it's going to migrate in some fashion into the wells in the area. So again, I thank you for your attention, and I hope if any one of these we can agree with is a problem, I think any one of them should negate the project. All 6 but it definitely negates the project.
Thank you, sir. Who would like to speak next? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Keep it short and sweet, Diane Reed, Mount Payne, next to Tammy. And I noticed in one of the responses by New Energy, they talked about with the traffic going up and down the road, it wouldn't be much different than on farmland where they're bringing manure trucks and everybody else through there. Well, that's not the case with our road. Our road is family oriented, with the one side being the farm and the agricultural site across the street, the rest are houses.
Mhm.
We do not have manure trucks going up and down. We do not have large vehicles that you would see with a big farm structure. Hauling corn or hauling wheat or cattle or anything like that. We don't have that. We have very little traffic. So in one of their statements where they were saying it shouldn't increase traffic by anything, it would increase it quite a bit. And as Tammy had stated, we're lucky if we get a dozen. I mean, I don't even think we get a dozen vehicles coming down our road at any given time. And yes, they do speed all the time. I mean,
That's everywhere.
I know, that's the rural thing.
Mhm.
And short and sweet, that's what I had to offer.
Thank you very much. Who would like to speak next? Name and address, please, ma'am.
Street. We've had issues already with our well water on multiple occasions. I live in a lower, area than just bring out something. And all of the junk and or pollution that goes into groundwater runs into my. I'm also the only one that has a resident child on the road. A child that enjoys living out in a very peaceful place.
Mhm.
And being able to play and ride her bikes on the road, which will be an issue when there's, 50 trucks. Okay,
Mhm.
out all the time, not much of the noise and it's all the time. Really.
Right.
My property.
Yeah, I think, in the response I read, 3 to 6 months to complete the project? About 3 to 6. Yeah. Be 3 to 6 months to build, just like anything else to build. Yeah. Mhm.
Correct.
Yep.
And I know solar panel farms mess with the recharging of the groundwater, which is incredibly important considering last year my well went dry. And I had just $70,000 to get a new pump and everything installed. And Big Fish 20 years ago was the only one who made sure that town water was not ran down the paper.
Okay,
But we don't have access to that, and we only have access.
right.
And so anything that messes with our well water should be mitigated. Right.
Okay, thank you very much. One of the things I'd just like to, I'm sorry.
The name, please, I'm sorry, I missed your name. Amy, A-M-Y, Hart, H-A-R-T. Thank you.
Just a reminder that the town board has authorized solar farms in this area. It's an authorized use for this property. Again, we don't do the code. The code is done by the town board. So if you have an issue with whether or not this type of project should be on that type of property, you could probably talk to the town board. Now, I'm not trying to push it off to them, but that's their job, and our job is on the other side of that. Once something is authorized, it's our job to look at it and make sure that it is the best project possible, or that it doesn't meet. We certainly can look at it and say it doesn't meet requirements, but that's part of what we do. So, anyone else like to speak for or against this application? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please. Okay.
Probably, they're gonna need to be, but there are some facts directly related to what you guys are talking about. So I understand our neighbor's concern regarding the proposed changes to our beloved map. And as neighbors, it makes sense to see only what impacts them, but as friends, I would like to ask each of them to consider how we got. Is it farming the land in Mount Payne Road isn't what Red Fish does?
Mhm.
It is. It's who he is, and before most of our neighbors were even born, Lynn's parents bought that land. They turned a broken down house in the middle of a bean field into a home, and they raised 5 children there. And Lynn is the youngest of those 5 children, and that home is the only home he has ever known. And in 1981, before many of these neighbors even had heard of Mount Pain Road, Lynn's father passed away, and Lynn left college to help his mom on the farm. But he didn't just run it. He grew it. He acquired new accounts. He diversified the crops, added greenhouses, and he tended countless continuing education to learn how to sustain and care for the land they all claim to us.
Speak to me, man. Okay?
He poured his entire being into the success of that farm. We had some great years. Perhaps these are the years our neighbors remember. These men were long.
That's fine.
As it became increasingly more difficult to deal with the new regulations, the rise in input costs like seeds, fertilizer, and fuel, the lack of consistent and competent labor, and so many other factors, he had to try new things. So he started a CSA, and he had events like wine tasting and car shows, which, by the way, the horses across the road are not bothered by. They actually enjoy it. Very loud cars going up the driveway, and they don't even flinch. So I would like to add that. He did these to try to add and to bring in customers to the farm. But despite his best efforts and his refusal to let discouragement win, it no longer made sense to fight with his battle. He began to research alternatives, and he wrestled with these options for years. Facing the struggle alone, not even telling his family. The option he eventually chose would have the least impact on the neighborhood as a whole and would leave the farm intact. By the way, I encourage our neighbors during their research on the evils of solar panels to look up the environmental impact of constructing new homes. Not to mention that selling out part of the property to add new homes can never be reversed. The 20 acres set aside for solar panels will be leased, not sold, with the potential to return to farmland someday. The 20 acres, which is 1/5 of the farm, will remain part of the farm, Lynn's farm. The farm he loves, the farm he grew up on and spent all his adult life working. The farm he will continue to work. The farm that he will continue to plant and harvest, with the exception of 2.5 acres that he leaves unharvested each year to feed the wildlife during the winter. Decades of friendships reduced to about over 20 acres. Lynn spent years struggling with this decision and how it would impact the neighborhood. Yet within a few months, they turned him into the enemy. And unfortunately, this decision will temporarily impact some of them. But this is not the first time the neighborhood has experienced changes. The Williamson and Bounds properties were once part of the farm. And the fields across from our house were once used to grow produce until the new owners put up a barn and turned the field into paddocks. The neighborhood adapted, the neighborhood survived, and the neighborhood will survive this too, with or without its present habitats. So to those who choose to remain neighbors, we hope that the proposed changes will be less intrusive than they imagine. And to those who choose to remain friends, we hope to continue to build memories on Mount Pain Road. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to include that in the record? And just give it to John there, if you would. Okay, let's see if there's anybody online that'd like to speak for or against this application. Anyone online like to speak for or against this application?
Yes,
Go ahead. Tell me who you are and what your address is.
Kathy Williamson, 4414 Mount Pain Road.
Okay?
I just wanted to say that I am reserving future comments for the preliminary site public hearing. And I feel that my concerns have not been sufficiently substantiated. And while not to get emotional, and probably, actually, I won't say anymore. If anybody wants those collection lines next to their house within 30 feet of their house, go for it. Put it right next to Lynn's house. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Know that this is the environmental section of this, then we get into the site plan and we'll look at everything else from there. So anybody else online like to speak for or against this application? Okay, anybody else in the room like to speak? One more time. Okay, with that, we have a resolution tonight. Remind us again what the resolution is, Ron.
It's a resolution to adjourn the public hearing, directing staff to prepare parts 2 and 3 of the environmental record and continue your discussion on that at your
August 5th.
August 5th meeting.
Yeah, so what this resolution does very clearly is just adjourns the public hearing. It doesn't close the public hearing. It adjourns it to August 5th. The staff will look at doing part 2 and 3 of the full environmental assessment forms to go forward. They'll give them to us. We'll review them, determine what we want to do from there. And with that, board have any comments? I didn't think so, neither do I. Do I have somebody to move this resolution as presented and approve, or move for its approval? Moved by Regina, seconded by Doug. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Tina Souza. Aye. Doug Meeks.
Aye.
Ed Eminger.
Aye. Okay, so we're going forward with at least completing the forms to look at what the impacts will be from the information that we have had so far. Okay, so that adjourns the public hearing and we move forward on other items. Okay, thank you guys very much for coming in. And thanks for being online. Okay, next item up is PB 0401-20 letter credit release for Auburn Meadows. Staff, everything's good with that?
It is now. If you remember, this was the one that was 20 cents off.
20 cents off. I was gonna give you 20 cents.
Yeah, you and the applicant's engineer. And then when the auditors come in, they'll look at that and where'd that come from?
Yeah.
So it's been corrected and the town board approved it last night, accepted it on the condition that this board recommends and submits that in writing to them. Once they do,
Okay,
then they'll release the letter of credit.
okay. Any other staff have any comments on this letter of credit? We're good? Board? Do I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented? Moved by Doug, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Tina Souza. Doug Meeks.
Aye.
Ed Eminger.
Aye. Okay, next item up is PB 2026-0701, Stephen Fitch. This is a special use permit for major home occupation for furniture refinishing. This is just a determination of if the application is complete. You're here to,
Yes.
I mean, this is basically, it's a paperwork issue of us making sure everything's complete, ready to go. Then there'll be a date set for the actual hearing or to look at the special use permit. Okay? Ron, anything else?
No, you pretty well summed it. The applicant
Yep.
received the draft
Yeah.
resolution. You all have received it. You
Yeah.
have any questions about it?
I do not.
Okay. Rest of the staff have anything?
I'm all set.
Okay, with that, do I have a motion to approve the resolution of determining it being complete? Moved by Regina, seconded by Doug. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
No, my dinner's at my table.
Aye, so staff will get with you of when it'll come up the next time, then you can tell us everything you're gonna do, how it's gonna be done, and all the other things that go along with the special use permit. I would suggest you look at the special use permit for a major home occupation to make sure that you've checked all the boxes and gone down through that, okay? All righty, that one's done. Okay, next item up, we don't have Brennan, do we? No. Okay, I'll hold off on Brennan, number 3 till the end. Next item up is 2026-703. Again, it's a look at the application for preliminary re-subdivision. It's determination that the application is complete and ready to move forward. Ron, anything special on this one?
Just a couple of comments.
Okay,
Bless you.
They, they're not proposing any buildable lots. They're proposing just parceling off 2 lots, creating 5. Some of those lots, are questionable whether they have the minimum 300 foot of frontage. We'll get into that more in detail once you.
when we get into it.
To move forward with it.
Subdividing 2 lots to get 5, because there was already
2,
2,
yeah. It's lots 3 and 4 of the Matisse subdivision.
okay,
You remember that's the one over
yeah,
the Kite Road.
yeah, okay, all right, so everything's complete on that?
Ready, yeah, as far as I know.
Staff, any comments? Okay, board, any comments? Do I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented? Moved by Doug, seconded by Regina. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Susan? Please.
Aye. Okay, next item up is 0704. That is the preliminary subdivision plat approval for the proposed 2 lots. So that's a separate action. Again, I assume everything's complete on that, ready to go?
Yeah, we're scheduling them both for the same night, so.
Right. Do one and then the other.
Right.
Okay. Staff have anything? Board have anything? I have a motion to waive the reading and approve the resolution as presented. Moved by Regina, seconded by Doug. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Susan? Please.
Aye. Okay, that one's done. Now we get to the PB 2026-0705. This is Martin Avila. This is the application for special use permit for a major home occupation for tree service. Again, this is a determination of completeness. Ron, what do we got?
We've got a application that was previously submitted, withdrawn, and now it's back for a major home occupation special use permit.
Okay,
And we'll,
this just says completeness and then we move forward with that.
right,
Okay, so, board, do we have a motion to waive the reading and approve that resolution as presented? Moved by Doug, seconded by Regina. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please. Aye. Okay, we got that one done. That is, again, all we're doing tonight is just saying it's complete and we can go forward. Staff will get with the applicants to determine when they are going to actually be discussing that topic. Next item up is 2026-0706, Keith Stevenson. This is a preliminary site plan approval. I'm sorry.
Paula is pointing out to me that Mr. Avila's is not complete.
That's what you have documented here.
It doesn't have a site plan.
Oh, the application, oh, I'm sorry. So the one for the major home occupation, Avilia, the resolution we passed said it's not complete. So it goes back to the applicant to submit additional information.
Yeah, the same kind of information that the previous one over there on Ivory Drive, or Amber Drive, was it?
Amber.
Yeah, Amber.
Had submitted. This one up on Sheldon Road didn't have any of that.
Didn't have the information required to be a complete application.
Right.
So that is actually a not complete application. So that application 0705 for the home occupation for tree service will have to go back to the staff with additional information so it can come back to us to determine completeness, then we can move forward.
Exactly.
I don't like doing those like that. I'd rather have them complete it, get it done before it even comes to us. But it is what it is. So that one is not complete. Okay, Keith Stevenson, you guys keep me on track on some of these because if I don't catch it. Keith Stevenson, this is for a preliminary site plan to construct a single-family dwelling. This one is determined to be complete. Okay, staff or board? Do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve that one as being complete? Moved by Doug, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please. Aye. John, is there a way when you do these, you can put in there what the application is? For instance, on that one with the tree service, could we have in there determination that the application is not complete on the agenda? So we can be sure we don't miss that, or was that done later? Or we shouldn't do that?
You can't do that.
Never mind, we can't do that.
Because you haven't.
I don't want to violate anything, but I just thought it'd be easier so I don't make a mistake, so, okay. So that's all, oh no, we gotta go back. Did we get Brendan Marks? Well, it's a determination of completeness, I believe, for 0702 Ruston Paving. The resolution just says that it's complete and ready to move forward. So I'll ask staff, it is complete, ready to move forward, correct?
He's got the basic.
He's got the basic stuff in there. Anybody else on the staff want to comment on it? Okay, we do have some comments and questions on the environmental form of where there were checks for yes and no explanation. Please work with the applicant to make sure that before we get it actually for preliminary site plan approval, that the assessment form has been completed with the reason that they said yes on it. You check a yes, it's not just you check a yes, you've got to explain why it's checked yes. The other thing is there is some additional clearing that's already on site for outside storage, we believe. We want to make sure that that's addressed before, or at the time that we do begin the preliminary site plan. Or we'll just kick it down the road. Now, we're going to get an answer to it one way or the other, but I'd rather have them do it beforehand. Okay, so anybody have any comments on it? Okay, do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve the resolution as presented for 702 Ruston Paving? Moved by Regina, seconded by Doug. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please. Aye. Okay, so
Adrian Heminger.
thanks, guys. See you next time. Okay, open discussions. Ron.
Okay, at your July 1st meeting, you granted final site plan approval for Bridges for Brain Injury.
Yes, we did.
With conditions.
Yes.
They are scheduled to go before the ZBA next Monday night. I called the engineering firm today and spoke with their engineer. He's submitting the revised drawings tomorrow. If Dave Oriens finds everything has been done, we'd like you to come in to
Works for me.
sign it so that they can get their temporary use permit and move forward.
Works for me. I got nothing scheduled tomorrow.
All right, we'll keep you posted on that.
Yep. Just give me a call. I mean, you can shoot me a text or a message, but it's easier to just call me.
Yeah.
Tell me it's ready and I'll pop down and do it.
Yeah. Other than that, the town board did accept a draft local law last night for regulating e-bikes and other e-scooters. Public hearing coming up in 2 weeks.
Yep.
28th of this month. The wastewater treatment seeker determination was made last night for the proposed improvements, and that grant application goes in Monday. Tight deadline on that. We also needed to provide a little more information to the Empire State Development Corporation for the Ontario County Infrastructure Grant that has been recommended by the Board of Supervisors. So that was finalized on Friday. And they said it was acceptable now, so we got our fingers crossed. It's just a matter of time for them. Pintail dedication finally is coming up, for the,
You got the second,
we got the dedication forms.
good,
And, the name change from Quentinshire to Pintail will follow that. It may be on the 28th, it may be the first meeting in, August. That remains to be
and the
seen.
kicker to that one is that closes Wood Bridge once that bypass is created.
Well, Woodbridge is gonna be closed one way or another. Because the contractor needs to get in there and do some work
Perfect.
before winter.
That'll clean up stuff for some neighbors
Yeah.
who have not been very happy.
New applications coming, couldn't make it tonight, on the agenda. Finger Lakes Credit Union, remember they were at the corner of Farmbrook Drive and 332.
Yeah.
They're coming with their site plans for that credit union building. The, single family site plan up on, Klein Road, Marl from, connecting to the town of Victor with
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
4 lots. That's come in. And then the, other thing is that, watching with interest, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has asked the governor to explain why, all of this prime and unique farmland's being used up for solar farms. And,
Good point.
we're watching to see where that goes because, as you know, we have a 1-for-1. If you take 20 acres, you gotta guarantee 20 acres.
Yeah, you gotta lock in
Protected.
20 other acres.
So we'll see where all that falls out. Other than that, we'll see where we go with a site plan for an accessory structure, like a private garage.
Mm-hmm.
That goes to the ZBA Monday night or their continued deliberations.
Okay.
And, that's all I have for now.
All right, Paula.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention the new applications that we have that Ron just talked about. One of the applications from tonight that we accepted, the subdivision for the boba flips, is also gonna have to be in conjunction with zoning board for a variance because it's a flag lot.
Oh, so we can't do anything but start the seeker, finish seeker, then turn it over to ZBA.
Like we've done in the past.
Like we've done in the past, that means that the second application can't be addressed at all until the first one gets done and goes to the ZBA. Because the second one is based on the subdivision already taking place, right? Am I right or wrong?
They're two different lots.
Oh, okay.
So one of them is completely free and clear of any issues.
The other one is,
The lot that they're trying to subdivide into 2 lots is a flag lot.
one of them's the flag lot.
Yes, so they either need to reconfigure or go to zoning board. It sounds like they're gonna go to zoning board.
Okay. All right. You guys keep us straight on which one's which.
In the office, we had an interview today for our open code officer position. We have another interview Friday.
Good.
Hopefully that'll be filled.
Awesome. I like to hear that.
Yes.
What about construction? Still down one, right?
I don't know that they're planning. I think they were gonna,
Go with one?
that's my understanding from.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay, Sean, nice to see you.
Yes.
You picked one of the absolute worst nights to be here because there wasn't a whole lot for you, but other than talking to the residents who actually decided to leave, so I guess it is what it is.
They gotta be outside, just saying.
That's fine. I have answers to their questions. I don't know how to submit that, but Yeah, I
I
figured
know
I'd
where
talk
you're
with
at.
them anyway.
Next time they come up, we'll just tell them to give you a call and stop over and see you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're always there to help.
I was invited over once.
Yeah,
Just a quick update on the upcoming projects for the town of Farmington. We will be milling Stonefield Estate, Chelsea Place off of Estate, and Colette Road from 332 to Mertensia on July 27th and 28th. Tentatively the 29th, but we are hoping to get it done in 2 days. And then we will be immediately turning around and paving over those the week of August 3rd through the 6th, as well as the 10th through the 13th, the first 2 full weeks of August. We will be
Good.
paving those as well. And the only other road that we are also paving is Colette from County Road 8 all the way to 28. So that's what we have going on in the highway.
all right. Lance,
Don't really have a whole heck of a lot to go over. So site design criteria manual, which we've been talking about for many months.
yep,
There's a draft that's been provided to the town. It's under review by the town. We're anticipating that getting an approval, which would be good because there's a lot of procedural updates that all the departments have weighed in on that I think would be beneficial. Other than that, no, I don't have anything else. to
good.
offer.
By the way, I had a conversation with a number of veterans at breakfast this morning, and a couple of them brought up the fact that Victor's got the hangers on the light posts down on Main Street. And I says, well, if we can get some more light posts on 96 there, maybe we can do the same thing, but we gotta get more light posts than just a handful in before we can start a project like that. So,
You're gonna get them
yeah, eventually,
across the front of Fairdale. There's about a dozen.
yeah. Yeah, we'll have some more, so maybe we can start doing it. So
We've
it's a
a
great
lot
idea.
of projects, so just.
Yeah, we just gotta get more people to come in and have projects. Conservation Board.
It's George. I don't have any comments.
Okay, thank you. We kind of open it up to the people who show up and stay to the end. You got any comments for us?
I have a question on that.
Give us a name.
Keith Stevens.
Okay,
On your-
okay, yep.
I'm sure I understand correctly about getting a final site plan.
You're approved to do the preliminary site plan. So the next thing you'll do is the preliminary site plan will come to us for review. We'll review it and approve it. Once we approve it, always with conditions, you'll take your engineer will fix those conditions, bring it to us for signature. Once we sign it, that's the preliminary, then you can submit a final, which is basically the same exact document. And then we go into the final review, make sure there's nothing we missed, and then go through that process. Once that's been signed, usually again with conditions, once those have been changed and signed, then you work with staff on getting a building permit meeting, and then you're good to go from there. It's a process. Always work with staff on that. They'll tell you the process of how it works. But I think, did I miss anything on that?
No,
No.
I
It's
mean,
funny, I've been doing this for 30 years. You'd think I got it right once in a while.
Is it likely that all that stuff would go through in like a 2-week?
No. It's gonna be at least 2 weeks before you can get the preliminary site plan to come in. Then we're gonna review it, and even with conditions, then you have to turn around and change them and get it in for signature. Chances are you'll miss the next 2-week meeting, and then it'll be another 2 weeks. We do the final, get that in, get it signed, and then you get to have a meeting with the town. Probably what's that, about 6 weeks? Roughly? Roughly 6 weeks.
All goes well.
If all goes well and we don't have any real major issues, which for single family home, I can't imagine we would, but you never know. So it's probably a good, I'd say 6 weeks minimum, maybe 8 weeks total. That's just the process, and that's not unusual. Almost every municipality in our area probably has at least that long of a period, if not longer, to do that, if I'm not mistaken, so.
Good,
Okay.
good news is he's not subject to having to go to the county.
Right.
That-
Yeah, there's a lot of pluses there. I mean, we have to do seeker, that's a 30-day, but we can still do stuff. So, yeah, there's a number of different pieces. I forgot about seeker. That's 30 days, right? Not really, because there won't be any.
Being type 2.
Yeah, it's a type 2, so we can knock that out real quick, so that won't be an issue. So, yeah, it's just a process. And I tell people it's a process and it's meant to uncover any weird things that might come up, because sometimes they do. You'd be surprised. You're doing your own septic and everything? Okay, so I mean, engineers have to review all of that and all those types of things. So there's just a bunch of pieces to it. It's not as easy as you'd think, but just saying, I just want to build a house. There's a lot of review for us to do, so, okay? But the more you talk to staff, the quicker it goes. Okay? So memorize Paula's number.
Email.
Any other comments?
Done that.
Board have anything? Okay, with that, I have a motion adjourned by Regina, seconded by Doug. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we're adjourned.